Elena sat quietly in the corner of a modern office lobby. The floor was polished, the walls were glass, and everything felt cold and expensive. She looked small in her second-hand coat, holding a worn-out folder in her hands. Her legs shook a little. She hadn't been in an office like this in years. She kept checking the time on her phone. Her interview was at 11:30. She had read and reread the job description all week. She had even practiced her answers with Devin the night before. Still, her stomach turned with nerves. The elevator doors opened with a soft ding. Elena looked up and froze. Monica stepped out, holding a clipboard, her heels clicking loudly on the floor. Her older sister. Her hair was perfect, her clothes sharp. She looked like she owned the place. Monica spotted her right away. She raised one eyebrow. "Well," Monica said, stopping in front of her. "You actually applied here? That's bold." Elena's throat tightened. "I didn't know you worked here." Monica gave a sweet, fake smile. "Oh, I don't just work here. I manage the hiring. Looks like today's going to be fun." She turned to the receptionist, a girl in a headset. "This is my sister. She's here for the 11:30. "Oh, nice to meet you," the receptionist said politely. Monica leaned in closer to Elena. Her voice lowered. "You really think you belong here?" Elena didn't answer. Monica didn't wait. She waved her hand for Elena to follow her. They walked down a hallway and into a bright, glass-walled conference room. Monica sat across from her, tablet in hand. Elena tried to sit tall, folding her hands in her lap to hide the shaking. "So," Monica said, flipping through the tablet, "what have you been doing since? What, 2021? "I took some time off," Elena said carefully. "I wasn't well, but I've been recovering. I've also been studying, learning new systems, data analytics." Monica nodded slowly, pretending to be interested. "Self-taught, huh? That's brave. And unpaid." She smiled without warmth. Elena bit her lip. "I did a small project for a nonprofit. I cleaned their data and built a dashboard." Monica tapped something on her tablet. "Freelance. Got it. So, nothing official." Elena looked down. She could feel her cheeks getting hot. Monica leaned back in her chair. "Okay, let's try a scenario. Say you're handed a corrupted Excel file, and you're on a deadline. What do?" Elena sat up straighter. "First, I'd check if the corruption is just formatting or—" Monica cut her off. Her voice was flat. "Honestly, don't stress yourself. We both know you're not getting this job." The words hit like a slap. Elena blinked. Her mouth opened, then closed again. Monica smiled politely, like nothing had happened. She shut the tablet. "Thanks for coming in." Elena didn't move. She sat there for a second longer, her chest tight. But she didn't cry. Not here. Not in front of Monica. She stood up slowly, folder pressed tightly to her chest, and walked out. Elena and Monica were never close, even as kids. Growing up, Monica was the one who always got the attention. She was loud, smart, and full of energy. She got top marks, won awards, and always knew the right thing to say around adults. Elena was quiet. She liked to read, to draw, to sit alone under the tree in their backyard. She was soft-spoken, the kind of child people often forgot was in the room. Their mother, Mrs. Fields, seemed to favor Monica without even realizing it. When Monica won a school prize, it was a big deal. There would be clapping, cake, and a photo on the wall. But when Elena got a B+ after studying for weeks, her mother would just say, "Next time aim for an A." If Elena ever cried, Monica would roll her eyes. "She's too emotional," she'd say. "Always has been." Over time, Elena learned to keep things to herself. In high school, Monica was already talking about business school and internships. Elena struggled with self-doubt. She was smart, but she didn't believe it. Monica made sure she didn't. She would say things like, "Don't overthink it, Elena. You're not exactly Ivy League material," then laugh like it was a joke. Elena got into a small state college. She was proud, but Monica called it cute. After college, Elena found a job as a data assistant. It wasn't much, but it was something. Then came the layoff. A few months later, her boyfriend left. Everything seemed to fall apart at once. She spent a year at home, barely leaving her room, watching the days blur together. Monica never visited. She'd send messages sometimes, not to help, but to remind Elena she was falling behind. "Still jobless," she once texted. "Maybe you should try something simple. Retail, maybe?" Now, things were a little different. Elena was slowly putting the pieces back together. She'd been in therapy for almost 8 months. She was learning to stand up straighter, to speak more clearly. It wasn't easy, but it helped. One evening, she met Devin again. They had gone to the same high school. He worked in IT now, still friendly, still the same warm smile. They bumped into each other at the library. He was checking out a book on programming. She was using the free Wi-Fi to search for job postings. They sat and talked for almost an hour. Over the next few weeks, they kept meeting. Coffee here, a walk in the park there. Elena found it easy to talk to him, easier than most people. She told him about Monica, about how she'd always felt small around her sister, always not enough. She didn't cry. She just told the truth. Devin listened. He didn't try to fix anything. He just said, "You're smarter than you think, Elena. Don't let her get in your head." The job interview had meant a lot to her. It wasn't just a job. It was a chance to prove she could start again, that she could make her own way without Monica's shadow following her. That day in the office, being mocked like that, it brought back years of pain. Now, sitting with Devin on a bench outside the library, she looked tired. "I don't think I can keep doing this," she said. "I thought I was getting better. But that interview, it broke something in me." Devin leaned forward. "It didn't break you, Elena. It just reminded you of the fight you're in. And you're still here." She looked away. "It's not fair. She always wins." He was quiet for a moment, then said, "Apply again. Somewhere else. Or even there again, under someone else. Don't let her be the reason you stop trying." Elena shook her head. "You don't get it. She doesn't just want to beat me. She wants me to believe I'm nothing." "I know," Devin said softly, "but you're not. And deep down, I think you know it too." Elena didn't answer, but something about his voice stayed with her. Later that night, she sat on her bed, laptop open in front of her, looking at job listings. Her heart still felt heavy. Her mind still whispered doubt, but her fingers hovered over the keyboard. Maybe she could try one more time. A week after the interview, Elena sat at the kitchen table, checking her email on her old laptop. Her stomach tightened as she saw a message from the company. Subject: Interview outcome. She clicked it open. The message was short. "Thank you for your time, Elena. Unfortunately, we've decided not to move forward with your application. Better luck next time, smiley face. Monica Brooks." Elena stared at the screen. The smiley face at the end felt like a slap. The message wasn't just professional. It felt personal, mocking. Monica had made sure to add her little touch of cruelty. Elena closed the laptop slowly. Her chest ached. She had really tried this time. She thought maybe, just maybe, she had a chance. A minute later, a second email arrived. At first, she thought it was another rejection. But it was something else. She clicked on it. The subject line said, "Panel notes. Interview Elena Brooks." It looked like it wasn't meant for her. Her eyes moved quickly across the screen. It was an internal message. A different manager, someone named Mr. Linley, had written. Elena Brooks showed potential. Her data project experience was promising. Quiet, but thoughtful answers. "I gave her a high score." Another line. Not sure why she was marked as unsuitable in the final round. Her performance was better than 2 other candidates who were shortlisted. Elena froze. She read it again. And again. Someone had liked her. Someone thought she deserved a chance. But Monica had made sure she didn't get it. Her hands started to shake. For a long time, she just sat there. Then the sadness gave way to something else. Hot. Sharp. Anger. She picked up her phone and called Devin. "Devin," her voice cracked. "What happened?" "She lied," Elena said. "Monica. She changed the decision. I got the proof. It was never about my skills. She made sure I failed." There was silence on the line. Then Devin said, "You still have the email?" "Yes." "Good," he said. "Now listen to me. This isn't about her anymore. This is about you. You know the truth now. You don't have to just take it." Elena wiped her face. "What can I even do? You start by not staying quiet." That night, Elena stayed up reading everything she could find about the company's hiring process. She found their official policies online. She looked at their code of conduct, their anti-nepotism rules, their complaint form. The next morning, she wrote an anonymous report. She attached the email from Mr. Linley and Monica's rejection. She explained everything: how Monica was her sister, how the interview was full of bias, how she had clearly passed but was rejected anyway. She sent it to the company's human resources department. It was done. Now, all she could do was wait. Monica noticed something was wrong when she got called in for a short meeting with someone from HR. It was quiet and polite, but she could feel it. They were checking on her, asking strange questions about hiring process, about the interview with Elena. After the meeting, Monica went back to her office and slammed the door. She knew something had been sent in. She didn't know what, but she could guess who. Elena. Monica picked up her phone and called their mother. "She's making trouble," Monica said. "She applied here, failed, and now she's trying to ruin my career out of jealousy." Mrs. Fields sighed. "Elena is still stuck on that? My goodness. She's always been like this," Monica said. "Blames everyone else instead of doing better." Later that evening, Elena's phone rang. It was their mother. "I just got off the phone with Monica," she said. "She told me you're causing problems at her workplace." Elena felt her chest tighten. "She lied, Mom. She changed my interview score. I was qualified." Mrs. Fields scoffed. "Elena, please. Monica has worked hard to get where she is. Maybe if you put in half the effort she does, you wouldn't be in this situation." Elena didn't say anything. Her mother continued. "I don't know why you always act like a victim. Life isn't fair. Grow up." Elena hung up the phone quietly. Then she cried. Not loud, just quiet tears that rolled down her face as she sat on her bed. She had hoped, deep down, that maybe this time her mother would believe her. But nothing had changed. A few hours later, Devin came by. Elena opened the door with red eyes and puffy cheeks. She called my mom, Elena said softly. Told her I was crazy, and she believed her. Again, Devin didn't say anything for a moment. Then he stepped inside, sat beside her on the couch, and said, "You still did the right thing." "She's going to destroy me," Elena whispered. "Like always." "No, she's trying," Devin said. "But this time you're not letting her." Elena looked at him, her voice breaking. "I don't know if I'm strong enough." "You are," he said simply. Meanwhile, Monica was getting more nervous. HR had asked for access to her emails. There were rumors going around the office. People were whispering, watching. She started lashing out at coworkers, criticizing their work, blaming them for small mistakes. She even changed a junior employee's report and blamed her when it caused a delay. The office mood shifted. People started keeping their distance from her. Her mask was slipping. Elena, on the other hand, began preparing for what could come next. She knew HR might call her for a formal hearing. She saved everything: the original rejection, the accidental email, the company policy screenshot. Devin helped her organize it all in a folder on her laptop. For the first time in a long time, she wasn't just surviving, she was fighting back. Then, one rainy afternoon, there was a knock at the door. Elena opened it and froze. It was Monica. She was standing there in a sharp black coat, makeup perfect, eyes cold. "Can we talk?" she said, already stepping inside. Elena moved back, unsure. Monica didn't sit. She stayed standing, arms crossed. "I know it was you," she said. "You sent that crap to HR." Elena didn't answer. "You really think you're some hero now?" Monica's voice was low, sharp. "You're trying to ruin everything I've built because you couldn't handle a little rejection?" "It wasn't rejection," Elena said quietly. "You lied. You're so weak, Elena. Always have been. You never take responsibility for your own failure." "I scored well," Elena said. "They said it. I earned that chance." Monica laughed, bitter. "You earned nothing. You walked in there with your sad little folder and thought you could compete with people who actually belong. You changed the score, Monica." "I saved that company from wasting time on someone who can't even hold a job," Monica snapped. There was silence. Then Elena stepped forward. "You've spent your whole life stepping on me," she said. "Telling me I'm nothing. Making sure no one ever saw me as more than your little sister." "I am the stronger one," Monica said. "You're proving it right now." "No," Elena said louder. "You're scared. That's why you're here. Because for once, I didn't just take it." Monica's jaw tightened. "I'm not scared of you," she said. "You should be," Elena replied. "Because I finally see what you are." Monica's eyes narrowed. "You think you've won something?" Elena's voice cracked as she spoke, but she didn't look away. "You ruined my life for years. You made me feel small, worthless. But I'm done letting you do that." Monica stared at her for a long moment. Then she turned and walked out. Elena closed the door slowly. Her hands were shaking. Her heart was racing. But something inside her felt clearer. She had finally said it. Out loud. To Monica's face. She wasn't afraid anymore. 2 weeks later, Elena got an email from the HR department. It said they had finished their investigation. They found problems with Monica's handling of the interview process. Some emails had been changed. Some scores didn't match. Monica had broken company rule. They invited Elena to a formal meeting, a panel, to speak about what happened. Elena sat at the edge of her bed, holding her phone. Her hands were cold. But she wasn't scared this time. Not like before. She had everything ready. The documents. The emails. Her truth. Devin offered to wait outside the building with her that day. "You're going to be all right," he said, gently touching her shoulder. "You've already won. You stood up for yourself." When Elena walked into the panel room, she saw Monica sitting at the far end of a long table. She looked calm but stiff. 2 HR officers sat beside her. Mr. Linley, the hiring director, was also there, along with another manager. Elena took a seat across from Monica. The room was quiet, serious. One of the HR officers spoke first. "Elena, thank you for being here. We'd like to ask you to share what you experienced, in your own words." Elena nodded. She took a deep breath. "My name is Elena Brooks," she began. "I applied for a position here and was interviewed by my older sister, Monica Brooks." Monica didn't look at her. "I came into the interview nervous but hopeful. I wanted a fair chance. But during the interview, Monica made comments that were personal. She laughed at my answers. She made me feel embarrassed and small." One of the officers nodded slowly. Elena continued, her voice steady. "After I got the rejection, I received an email by mistake. It showed my scores were actually high, especially from Mr. Linley. That's when I realized something wasn't right." She paused, then looked around the room. "I've always lived in my sister's shadow. Growing up, I was told I wasn't enough. I believed it, but I still tried. I studied, I worked. And even after I lost my job and my confidence, I tried again. I came here to restart my life, and I was judged unfairly. Not because I wasn't ready, but because someone didn't want me to succeed." The room stayed quiet. Elena's voice was calm, but the weight of her words filled the space. Then it was Monica's turn to speak. She laughed lightly and shook her head. "This is ridiculous," she said. "She's always been dramatic. She just couldn't handle being told no. Please answer the questions respectfully," one HR officer said firmly. Monica rolled her eyes. "Fine. I didn't do anything wrong. She wasn't a good fit. I treated her like any other candidate." Mr. Linley leaned forward. "We found records that suggest otherwise. There are missing notes in the system and edits to the score sheets that came from your login." Monica's tone changed. "So now I'm being blamed for a system error?" "You also sent her a rejection email with an unprofessional message," one of the officers added. Monica's face hardened. "She's my sister. I was being casual." Elena looked at her, quiet. Then Monica snapped, her voice rising. "She's been jealous of me her whole life. She can't take care of herself. She's always expecting others to carry her. I've had to do everything alone. And now I'm being punished because she's finally trying to stand up and act like a victim." Everyone in the room was watching her now. The cold, proud front was cracking. Mr. Linley looked directly at her and said, "This isn't about rivalry, Mom. This is about integrity. You didn't just hurt your sister. You broke trust with this company." Monica's mouth opened like she wanted to argue, but nothing came out. One of the HR officers said, "Monica Brooks, you are suspended effective immediately, pending further review." Monica sat still, stunned. They turned to Elena. "We also want to say this. Your interview performance was strong. Based on the original scores, we'd like to offer you a role in another department, one where there is no conflict of interest." Elena felt her throat tighten, but this time it wasn't fear. It was relief. She nodded. "Thank you," she whispered. As the meeting ended, Monica stood and walked out without a word. Elena stayed behind for a few more minutes, speaking with HR and signing a few papers. Then she walked outside, where Devin was waiting on the steps. "Well," he asked. Elena smiled softly. "They offered me the job." Devin grinned. "Told you." Elena looked up at the sky. The clouds were parting. For the first time in a long time, she didn't feel small. She felt seen. Elena started her new job the following Monday. She was nervous walking into the tall office building, wearing a borrowed blazer and holding her new ID badge. The floor was quiet, filled with the soft hum of computers and people typing. She introduced herself to a few co-workers, speaking softly, unsure if they already knew who she was. At first, Elena kept to herself. She listened more than she spoke. She watched how people worked, how they treated each other. Slowly, she started answering questions during meetings. She offered small suggestions. People listened. Some even thanked her. After a few weeks, her team leader pulled her aside. "You have a good eye for detail," he said, "and people trust you. That's rare. Keep going." Those words stayed with her. For the first time, Elena didn't feel invisible at work. Outside the office, she made some hard choices. She stopped responding to Monica's messages. Monica had sent a few short texts, no apology, just cold questions like "happy now?" or "you made your point." Elena deleted them without replying. When Mrs. Fields called and asked why she was ignoring her sister, Elena took a deep breath. "Because it's not healthy for me," she said quietly, "and I'm allowed to protect myself now." Her mother sighed. "You always take things too personally." "No," Elena said. "I just finally stopped pretending it doesn't hurt." It wasn't easy, but setting boundaries gave Elena space to breathe, to grow. Devin stayed close, checking in, taking her out for tea, walking with her on weekends. They didn't rush anything. Sometimes they talked for hours. Other times they sat in silence, and even that felt safe. One evening, as they sat on a park bench watching kids play nearby, Devin looked at her and said, "You've changed." Elena smiled, tucking her hair behind her ear. "I think I'm just becoming myself." They didn't kiss that day. They didn't need to. Back at the office, news slowly spread that Monica had been officially demoted. She no longer had a team under her. People whispered, but Elena didn't ask for detail. She didn't gloat. She didn't feel the need to. It wasn't about revenge anymore. She had a job, a future, a quiet strength inside her that she never had before. Every day she came to work, she sat at her desk, opened her laptop, and did her best. Some days were hard. Some were easier. But every day she showed up for herself. She was no longer trying to prove anything to Monica, or to her mother, or to the world. She was building her own life, one step at a time. Elena walked into the office early that morning. The air was still quiet, and the sunlight touched the edges of her desk. She placed her bag down slowly, took off her coat, and sat in her chair. She looked around. The space felt different now. Not because it had changed, but because she had. There was a small yellow post-it on her keyboard. Her manager's handwriting was neat and simple. "You're already proving them wrong." Elena held the note for a moment. She smiled, not the nervous, unsure smile she used to wear, but a soft, honest one. She wasn't smiling because Monica had been punished. She wasn't smiling because she had finally been chosen. She smiled because, for the first time, she believed in herself. She was here. She had earned her place. She turned toward the window beside her desk. The city outside was busy and full of movement. Cars, people, life, all going forward. Elena sat there for a moment, just breathing. Quiet. Still. Not broken. Not lost. Just whole. Hey loves. Thanks so much for sticking with me till the end. Don't forget to like, share, drop a comment, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. See you in the next one. Bye for now.